Hi there, folks. I'm not Jason. I'm Bruce. Jason's usually in this spot. This
And
is
I'm not
Bruce.
Bruce.
No, he's not Bruce. Yeah, we've got a special guest with us today, Tim Davis. He's not a stranger to us. Tim was on staff at Church in the Hill for a number of years.
11 years or so, yeah,
That was
something
back
like that.
in the day when we were planning the Kaiser campus, 2010, and he heard over our men's ministry and a bunch of other stuff, outreach in the community. And then he left us to start something else. We're going to hear about that. But thanks for being with us, and thanks for joining us wherever you are, listening
Yeah.
to this or watching this as you go down the road. So, yeah, Tim, thanks.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. Yeah.
So
it's
you
been a
got
while.
you're flying the colors.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the color. I mean
Right,
the,
no, yeah,
the
exactly.
swag there.
Yeah.
And that's what is that patch?
Yeah. So Valor Mentoring is the nonprofit organization that me and a couple of buddies started. We didn't set out to do that, but that's what it's turned into. Yeah, it's gotten a little crazy.
Yeah, Valor Mentor. How long ago did you start that?
Yeah, officially as a nonprofit in 17. The
So
idea started in
2017,
15 or 16.
Yeah.
Let's get more guys together to mentor more guys, and then it got out of control. And you were one of our first speakers back then, and
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's been fun to watch how that idea took off from just being
Yeah.
an idea to a reality. And
Man.
the reality is growing all the time. If I just so people who maybe have never heard of Valor Mentoring, I'm on a bus. My stop is 45 seconds down the road, and I ask you, "Hey, so what's Valor Mentoring all about?" I'm getting off in just a minute here. What's
Yeah.
the 1 minute elevator?
Yeah. We're a mentoring organization. One of our focuses on one-on-one is to mentor men of all ages to lead Christ-centered lives, right? The byproduct of that is so that families, women, and children would thrive. And we do that through our facilities, one-on-one, group mentoring, music, media, and the arts, public service, a tremendous amount of stuff. Yeah, 130,000 people a year going through our facilities. And
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get to the facilities in
Yeah.
just a second. So, you're focused primarily on men then?
Yeah.
Because the idea is if you can get men on track, the family comes online, or
Well, yeah, I mean, typically women and children thrive when men are doing well.
men are doing well.
Not saying that out of any bit of chauvinism, but if you haven't noticed in the last 15 years, men are failing largely in our country. And so, some of those driving points, now all of the programs we'll maybe talk about later or whatever, are all open to boys or girls, male or female, right? But still a core focus is to mentor men. Yeah. So
What does that mean exactly? You know what I'm saying? I get the word. I understand the definition
Sure.
of the word, but what does it look like in it? And there's probably a wide range of applications, but what does it look like on the
Yeah.
in everyday life? Someone like your mentor Joe over here takes on Bob.
Yep.
Because Bob needs a mentor. What does it typically look like?
Yeah, so we do fifth grade and up, and so if you were mentoring a middle school or a high school, typically that looks like you're meeting on campus for lunch with them, hanging out
On a regular basis?
On a regular basis, the typical relationship is weekly. We ask for a year commitment or a school year commitment if it's a school age student, because you can do more damage than good if you're not showing up regularly and that type of thing. But basically, you're just learning to listen and earning the right to be heard, earning trust, and that type of thing in a young person's life. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if I came on and I'm sure there's some kind of preparation as a mentor, right? Some
Yes.
kind of training that I have to go
Yeah.
through, and background checks, obviously, things like
Of course. Yeah. So we have a layer of that, starting with general information and then, references, spiritual reference, background checks. We do a personality assessment. We also do personality assessments and other trauma-informed assessments with our mentees to help us do a good match with the mentor to mentee.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
depending on likes and dislikes and interests from sports to welding to, whatever that is.
that. Yeah. So if I contact you and I say I've got time I've got spare time. I've got time to give to
right.
this, and I want to mentor a high school kid. You already have a pool of high school kids that have said to you, "I want to mentor."
Yes.
So I show up and we just get to know each other. But then week after week, is it natural? Is it clumsy? What's your take?
I mean, you start out with that relationship just showing up, right, and listening, and then if you want additional tools, we have other trainings and that type of stuff. But it's really about listening. It's not about you rushing in with a bunch of wisdom that you've come up with, right?
Yeah.
I always tell people the best two tools you got is your ears, and and then developing a relationship without question. Hey, how'd that thing work out with your science teacher when you told him to F off or whatever,
Right. Yeah,
so
right.
yeah. And there's different levels of need within a mentee, right? Some of those are, man, I'm in a tough spot. I need somebody. They're asking a school counselor, a coach, a teacher, a pastor that I need somebody to walk alongside with. That'd be awesome. Some are being referred to by a coach, a counselor, a pastor, a parole officer, right?
Right.
And so we do some of that as well. And so,
So the
yeah.
schools where these kids attend are really in favor. They see you
Absolutely.
guys as an asset.
Yeah. I mean, the data on that stuff, we've just begun to collect deeper and deeper data. But, a kid a young person who is being mentored is 155% more likely to hold a leadership position, 55% more likely to go to college or trade school. So, there's a lot of benefits to, I mean, we call it mentoring because that's what the culture understands. But in our faith communities, we would call it discipleship, right? It's just another word for discipleship, right? And often as the mentor, you're growing too from that mentee, right?
Yeah. You're learning.
Absolutely. So you don't have to have a rocket science degree. You don't have to have every aspect of your life running on all 8 cylinders perfectly, right? None of us are perfect, and so, but sometimes it's just showing a kid how you show up for work every day and showing work ethic to them or diligence or whatever, right? It doesn't. So a lot of people try to disqualify themselves because of whatever, But,
They think, how would I talk to a high schooler or a middle schooler even? That's funny.
Yeah.
I remember mentoring back in the day right across the street from our Kaiser campus at an elementary school, Kennedy, and they remember you were involved in that. They asked us, do you have any men or women, both, that can mentor our kids? And that was being driven primarily by a lot of problems in the home. Is that, you see the same thing?
Yeah. I mean, in America, 90% of every homeless runaway is from a fatherless home, 90% of every incarcerated person, 71% of every dropout, 68% of every suicide. If you're a teenage girl and you're in a home without a father, you're 770% more likely to be pregnant by 20 years old.
Wow.
And currently in America,
Those are sobering statistics.
Yeah. Currently in America, 43% of every child is in a home without their dad. So it's not a good recipe.
Yeah, and I think we see some of the fruit of that played out in our culture. And like you said, it's not, men aren't the only thing. Obviously,
No.
men and women.
We need both. Yeah.
We need both, and we need healthy men. What about post high school? So how much of the mentoring happens between maybe, hey, I'm a 50-year-old guy and I have a 30-year-old guy that just says, I need someone to speak into my life? Does that happen?
Yeah, fairly often. I don't know the exact percentage. I'd say somewhere around 70% is that high school and under, and young adult and above on, say, the 30%. You could be even as a 40-year-old going through a corporate downsizing and upheaval in your life and needing somebody to walk alongside to help kind of put some guardrails on there and help. Yeah, you could go through a divorce. You could, there's other adult stuff.
Crazy season.
Right. Yeah, life. Exactly. Yeah. And so we make available, we don't cap it. It's 5th grade and up, no matter what.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah.
So do you have, I kind of know the answer to this question, but
Sure
I'd like
do.
us to hear it.
Yeah.
Do you have like older guys that have tons of time on their hand? Is that the profile? Most of the mentors, are they older or are they?
I'd say it's about half and half. I mean, we have the ability to activate. I'd call it get men off the bench, so to speak.
That's a
right?
great term.
And I think that's for the church as well as for the community, right? You might be just retired and man, I can't imagine. I'm talking to myself now. There's no way I'm retiring and sitting on the porch waiting for the paper to drop.
Right.
Yeah. You've, through the book Halftime by Bob Buford or any other number of stuff, you spent this life of yours developing some wisdom, some experience and all that. We're just going to die with all that.
Yeah,
so
giving it away.
It's really invigorating to watch a guy come off the bench and invest in a young person, and life and purpose and all that kind of inflates itself. Yeah.
It's so interesting about giving it away, or there's a term that was real popular a few years ago, paying it forward. I think maybe that was a movie. I don't know, but the whole idea of paying it forward. Someone mentored or invested in me, either deliberately or accidentally, but someone's life ahead of me impacted my life, and now I'm going to turn around and impact somebody else's life.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. The commitment is like, if I go and I said, listen, I think I want to get into this, or I want to investigate it. What's the runway to get involved? The on ramp.
Yeah, the on ramp is several interactions with us, and
Through-
probably about through we have a mentor director and a system and a process.
So there's a web page I go to.
Yeah, if you went to valormentoring.com, there's a button on every page that says I want to be a mentor or I need a mentor, you know, and then that starts.
Oh, so they're both there.
Yes.
I need a
full-time.
mentor, or
Yes.
I want to be a mentor.
Exactly.
Valormentoring.com, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. And so and that starts the process is just some basic information about who they are and lifestyles and hobbies and habits, and then that escalates through the process of that, and then us using those personality assessments and the other data to make a great match for someone, you know, and then you're moving forward. It's very, very natural. If you want, we send you off with tons of example questions, conversation starters.
Right,
like,
yeah,
like
like,
if you're not
yeah.
all extroverted like myself or whatever, then you kind of, you want some tools.
Just
And
some
so
basic
those are-
stuff to get you rolling.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And then, maybe we'll get to this as far as facilities, but that's something else that makes us unique. You can come to any of our facilities, our coffee shops. The drinks are free to you and your mentee. You can come bowling every week with your kid. And we have some mentors that come, and that's their way of connecting with their mentee. Is the kid had a desire to learn about bowling, and you don't have to be a good bowler, right? Just right. Again, we own the bowling alley, so like there's public spaces where you can come to increase and build that relationship.
Yeah. Along the way, I'll go to the facilities in a second, but along the way, are there checkpoints where someone says to me, the mentor, hey, how's it going? I mean, obviously you do some follow-up. Hey, you met with your mentee 3 or 4 times. We just want to know, are there any bumps in the road, anything we can help you with? Does that happen?
Yeah, we've got some really quick 30-second, 20-second survey type thing, 3 quick questions, and, hey, how's it going?
Like
Scale
feedback.
1. Yeah. Hey, how's it going between 1 and 5, and we got a filter that if somebody puts 3 or below, that we probably want to follow up with that person. Because not every mentee is a cakewalk, and
Sure.
and so
Challenges.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But,
so you started this vision and this ministry just with mentoring, but then it blossomed. There was some other stuff that came on the horizon that you felt like, hey, this would serve the whole picture. And those are the facilities. Talk about that.
Yeah. So, in 2020, we bought Town and Country Lanes, which is now the Rec Lanes, a 24 lane.
That's out here in Kaiser on River Road.
25,000 square foot, $3 million bowling alley that has 120,000 people a year going through it. That's a pretty conservative figure. And we host 1,000 events a year in that facility. And then lots of mentoring and lots of interaction, lots of marketplace meetings and other things that happen in the building. And it's become a hub for what we do. And then 2 years ago, we bought the Kaiser Grange and made that it's a 5,000 square foot, 2-story building. And so that's a 2,000 or 2,500 square foot coffee shop on the bottom with hangout space and a video game station and couches. And
it's designed for target audiences who?
It's anybody. So it's a public access coffee shop, just like you're going into Starbucks, or just that our coffee is better, our ingredients are better, our prices are better, and our cause is better.
Yeah.
So, but
there you go.
Yeah.
Stop drinking at Starbucks. I'm going to go on camera and say that. Don't bring your friends.
Yeah. I mean, try me. Your drink's free if you don't think we got the best coffee in the city. But
well, there you go too.
Yeah. But like we have a what do you call that? A hammock chair swing in the middle of the coffee shop, so young people can feel like it's a cool space to hang out in, but a lot of business folks and stuff come by and have their meetings just like you'd have at Human Being or it's just actually a quieter space. Because we know a little bit about sound, we treat some of that stuff better than the other locations.
Yeah. But I think when you were acquiring the Grange, which is on Chamawa Road, just about 200 yards
200 yards from the front door of McNary High School.
So that was a very deliberate thing.
That was absolutely the motivation to go there. Yeah, for sure. And so we bought that thing. It's built in 1938. It was moved there in 1958. We put in all new electrical, plumbing, insulation. You can just imagine, right? All that stuff. And so it's a completely redone space. And so it fits our model. So our facilities are all free to enter. right? So that's a hurdle. Again, no disrespect to the YMCA or the Boys and Girls Club or Croc Center, but you have to be a paid member to be in those buildings. And so lowering hurdles for people to be in safe spaces around positive adults is the motive.
Yeah. Gosh.
Yeah. And so then you tack onto that we've got piano lessons, guitar lessons, hip hop, dance, video production, audio production, esports and gaming and tournaments. And I'm probably forgetting a few things.
And good coffee.
And good coffee. But all those things I just talked about are available at no cost to any young person. Doesn't matter whether you're black, white, Asian, gay, straight, Republican, Democrat. We don't care. It's free. So again, the cost of programming, free. Come in the building, free. You don't have to buy anything if you're there, right? Kids come in there and just hang out, And if you have money, great, and the kids get snacks and stuff for after school programs. So, from that perspective. So, again, wherever we can lower the hurdle for young people or people in general to access quality spaces, as well.
So how long's the McNary location been open? When did you guys open? Recently?
About a year and a half.
Year and a half ago.
Yeah, time's flying.
Yeah. So you have traffic, foot traffic, right?
Yeah.
In front of there all day long.
Yeah. Throughout the day, about 75 to 100 kids come in the building. And through our programs and other things, we serve about 75 kids a week. So some of that's just casual retail, hangout, and some of it's programming and stuff. So it's really cool. It's really fun.
Yeah. Who do you have running that location? Someone has to run it.
Absolutely. Right? So Mackenzie Mullins is the manager of the Grange, and she started with us at 16 years old with some serious issues, maybe with trouble and alcohol and some other things and homelessness and all that stuff. And fast forward now 4 years, she's a general manager. She does all the hiring, all the firing, all the ordering, all the recipe development. Yeah. She just launched a barista boot camp, which is a program for high schoolers and middle schoolers as a work development program. It's a 12-week program and all that. They learn how to count cash and run cash registers and clean bathrooms and get their food handlers licenses and all that
Basically
stuff.
do a business.
Absolutely.
That's so cool. That's a great success story.
Yeah.
And how did she find you?
Well, she
4.5 years ago.
one of her relatives was working for us, and they said, you should try to work there and stuff. So, and I mean, tell you, it was no pleasure cruise the first few months of her working there. She had a lot of challenges in her life, and it wasn't easy to be an employer for her. But we're a high standards organization, but a high grace organization, right? Yeah. And so hung in there, and she was hungry to grow and learn. And she's
that was mentoring in real time.
Every employee
basically
for us
it wasn't just sitting around talking.
A mentee.
It was like,
yes. Yeah, we consider every employee a mentee,
Yeah.
right? And so we're going to invest in their life in whatever facet they allow us to.
Yeah, that's really good. I heard just last night we were in a meeting. Well, we do a leadership training class at our South Campus, and we talked about mentoring. And I said that mentoring is and it wasn't my idea. This is, we've talked about it our whole lives, I guess, you and I, because of what we do. But mentoring is a relationship between two people. An agreement between two people. I have something I'm willing to give away. You have something that you need.
Yes.
And let's do an exchange over a period of time.
Yeah.
Right? And so what Mackenzie needed was what? She
needed stability, father figures, accountability, and purpose.
Yeah. And what you guys provided
was purpose and accountability. Yes, exactly.
And
she's an absolute rock star. She will oversee dozens, if not hundreds, of employees someday for our organization. Yeah.
Well, we'll have to get Mackenzie back here one day and share her story.
Get her on the show. Yeah. She's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what about? So that's an easy one to picture. Why a bowling alley? I mean, why not a swimming pool or something?
Yeah. I'd have to say God, right? I was leaving a board meeting one day, and me and Dick Whitnell were leaving, and he's getting in his car and I'm getting in mine. He goes, Tim, Don and Ann really need to sell Town and Country Lanes. He got in his car, I got in my car, we drove off. But I now know the Lord wouldn't let me let it go.
Yeah.
We thought we'd do something in the marketplace, more of a coffee shop, not a 25,000 square foot city block big bowling alley. But we knew what we thought it could do for our organization, but it is at least 10x our impact in the community, our ability to serve. The Church of so many youth groups and more than 85 schools use our facility in a daily basis. Dozens of churches, because you don't have to. You played football and other things. You have to have a certain level of proficiency at baseball or football
Yeah.
to have fun doing
Yeah,
it.
or tennis. Even
Right, yeah,
tennis.
tennis, yeah. But not with bowling,
Yeah.
right?
'Cause you have
All of
bumpers.
us can
I
have
can
fun.
have bumpers, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
yeah, just throw the ball.
Yes, yeah, yeah. And it gets, and you don't see kids and families on their phones, right?
Right.
You don't see people on their phones.
Yeah,
they're
they're playing.
active. Now, I get it's not like running a 10K, but you're out in the community, you're active, and you're interacting face to face,
Yeah.
right? That's the beauty of it.
Yeah, it's so funny. We've been in the facility dozens of times, and you never see anybody not having a good time. Everybody's laughing, everybody's yelling. You
Yeah.
know, I got a strike. It is actually, thinking about it, it's really a unique sport.
It is.
Because you can jump right in and have a great time, and
Yep.
you don't really care that much unless you're trying to bowl professionally or something like
Right.
that. But
Yeah.
do you
No.
get many of those? Do you get many guys that are super serious or?
Well, some of the league stuff or tournaments, are a little
it.
more serious, but that's really not our typical clientele. It's actually not our target market, right? Our target market is the general community. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Sounds like a dumb joke. There's a lot of moving parts in a bowling alley.
There's a lot of moving.
How many
parts, man.
lanes are there?
24.
And so all that mechanical equipment, right?
Mechanical engineering, electrical engineering. Like you've got a restaurant, you've got mechanical, you've got front desk hospitality, you've got conference rooms upstairs, you've got technology, a live stage, video and audio production. Right? Yeah, it's try being our insurance agent.
Right.
So-
I can just imagine.
and then mix in there minor mentoring. Relationships and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
there's
yeah.
a restaurant inside.
Yeah, full restaurant, and people say this every day. They're like, man, the food's amazing here, and I'm like, yeah, like we didn't expect that from a bowling alley, but yeah,
That's so cool. So give us another success story. Someone working in the bowling alley, for example.
Yeah.
And they came to you. I can think of a couple people. You go
Sure,
ahead.
yeah. I mean, a couple quick ones. Fausto, who is in similar story to McKinsey, reached out to us many years ago at Church on the Hill and said, I need a mentor in life. He made some poor decisions, was in a rough spot in his life, and I became his mentor, and he did everything that I asked. Not that I was that great, but the guy was ready to grow, right? And that's an aspect of mentorship that you need. You got to be ready to
You gotta
do
be willing
something about it.
to want to
yeah.
grow, yeah.
Yeah. And you flash forward to him now. He is the general manager of all of our facilities, right? He was a 3-time foster kid that, made some mistakes but has grown into this amazing leader who's infectious positivity, all the time.
Wow.
Yeah. He's getting ready to get married in a couple months. You're doing his wedding.
Come on.
We've seen him grow from just past a teenager to this fine young man,
And he's the general manager of the facility.
he hires and fires everybody in the bowling alley and those type of things. It's his culture that he's driving, and and that type of thing. So
That's so good. What a great story.
yeah, and then you've got younger versions. I mean, there's kids that come to us that so awkward and shy they couldn't do anything, and we interact with them. They'd love to get a job. Well, okay, so let's practice what it takes to get a job. They come in a t-shirt and jeans. I'm like, are you? Is this an interview? Like, well, yeah. No, it's not. You need to get a shirt on, right? Do you have a resume? Just 2 weeks ago, a young lady came in and like, I'd love to work here. Okay. Do you have a resume? She came back with a handwritten 1 paragraph sloppily done. Again, she didn't know.
She
any
doesn't
different.
know. She doesn't
right.
know, yeah.
So McKinsey sits her down. This is what a resume looks like. We built out a resume for her to apply for her own job with us, right? And now she's involved in the barista boot camp and she's learning. And she may or not become an employee yet for us, but that type of stuff all day long. And since we opened the Grange, 38 kids who had previously dropped out of high school came in there for whatever reasons, and now they're enrolled at Chemeketa and getting their GEDs and their associate's degrees at no cost to their family, right? 27 kids gave their life to Jesus in that coffee shop last year, and we're not a religious nonprofit, right? I call it pastoring the marketplace, right?
Pastoring the marketplace. That's
Yeah.
a great term. That's a great term. Let's jump for a second to out on the new facility,
Lancaster.
out on Lancaster.
Yeah.
Lancaster Drive is infamous in our city because of the needs that are all around.
Absolutely. Certainly one of the poorer areas of our city. We began to make that a target from a vision perspective a couple years ago, and then that's picked up steam. So 68% of all crime in Salem-Keizer happens within 3 miles of McKay High School. 100% of all youth gun violence happens within 3 miles of McKay High School.
McKay High School's on the north end of Lancaster.
North end of Lancaster.
Got it.
That's right. And so we're currently renovating the space and hope to be open in May. It is right across Lancaster is our new location, and that is a 6,600 square foot coffee shop and youth center with conference rooms and all kinds of really cool stuff. Our front door faces Planned Parenthood, so we like that aspect of the location. People are like, well, why you bought the other location? Why aren't you buying for this one? Because we can't get any closer to McKay High School than this retail space. Wow. So that's why we're going there.
Just help us orientate where you're on the side street. You're not on Lancaster exactly, but right around the corner is the front stores. And what are those stores?
That's that strip mall, right? Yeah. So that's Village East Mall or strip mall. So if you're leaving McKay and you're driving the driveway out of McKay across Lancaster and you kept going, the mall is on your left and we're right there as you get to we're on the side.
What's in there? Is it Bi-Mart?
Way down at the other end. There's Bi-Mart. There's Ross Dress for Less.
So that helps us.
Yeah, you come down towards what's the kids rerun place? And then there's a Asian food buffet, and then on the side will be
where you guys
location.
Are.
Yeah. And so we've already surveyed more than 700 McKay students. We're on site there about every couple weeks, surveying and hanging out and talking to them about what they'd love to see. And we were accurate on about 85% of the survey stuff that came back. A few food choices that we hadn't thought about: walking tacos and pizza cones. For those of your listeners, it's okay. I didn't know what it was either, but it's something that we are gonna serve. And then there was a few responses of people that said, "Man, it would be nice to have a safe space to go after school where I won't be recruited by the gangs." That one hit hard and home because I don't know about you, but I never thought about that as a high schooler.
Yeah.
And to have that weight on you, so there's so many things that excite us about that location. We will have, like at the Grange, Salem PD and Marion County Sheriffs will have 24-hour day fob access. We at the Grange, we currently set out snacks, coffee, and tea for Kaiser Police Department every night, and they come in the middle of the night if they want to take a break or do paperwork. They come in the Grange. It can sit in a comfortable space and have coffee or tea and do their paperwork. And then we'll be doing the same at the Commons. So Salem PD and Marion County Sheriffs, they'll be there during the day to have coffee or whatever. But also any time throughout the night, they can come there. And I think it's a pretty wise idea from our perspective to have a cop car out in front of your place at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad idea.
These days. That's for sure. What is McKay, the administration? I'm sure you've had contact, obviously, if you're going in and doing surveys. Are they excited about it? Are they ambivalent about it?
They are super excited, super motivated. They're big advocates. Each of their principals and others were at our functions, like our luncheon and our dinner, and we just presented to their whole staff of 100 and whatever people a few weeks back, and we're going to be doing some stuff before school gets out as far as we call it final exam gaming edition. So we're doing a video game tournament, kids versus staff, and so it builds culture, it builds camaraderie amongst staff and kids. Nice. And who doesn't want to just trash your teacher, whether it was a sport or a video game? Right?
Beat my professor. That's great. That's great. So, boy, the end of the school year is coming quick. So the idea is to get open
before school gets out.
You guys that presence, and of course you'll be there in the fall, but you'd like to get open before school starts.
Yeah, absolutely. Permitting and all that takes longer than you want, and so on. But we're excited. God's in control. He's got the timing of it, and this space will easily 10x what's happening at the Grange. I mean, the Grange is in a residential area for the most part, right? This is full-blown busiest, one of the busiest areas in all of Salem Kaiser. Yeah. So
how many students do you know in McKay? How many students are there?
2,200
is a fairly good size school. My goodness.
They might be the largest. And we have kids on an advisory council from McKay, McNary, and Blanchette. So they've already been inside that gutted space and have taken tours and helped cast some vision for programming and all that stuff. So,
we were talking before we started recording here this afternoon about how churches get involved out there. So there's a few churches out on Lancaster.
Sure.
And how would they how would they get
plug
their
in.
Foot in the door?
Yeah. So first of all, this is a state of the art, large coffee shop, right? So and it'll be a little bit unique to maybe most of the other locations that people have been at. But there's 4 conference rooms. 2 are more 4-seater conference rooms, just smaller. So if you want to have private conversations and that type of stuff, whether that's mentoring or tutoring, or one of our law enforcement wants to have a conversation with someone, that can happen. Then there's a large conference room that'll hold 80 or 90 people, and that's where we run a lot of our after-school programs. There'll be a lot of companies that'll have professional trainings there. The school district leases conference room space across the city all the time. They're directly across the street. The
nice.
district office is there, but churches could be a part of volunteering in many ways. We want to build a small army so that there'd be people in one of those conference rooms every day after school, as kids might have a challenge or something.
Want to talk to somebody.
And we'll be providing the level of training around whatever that is, right? From pointing to the right counselors, which we have partners for that. If a kid's electricity is going to go out, we don't personally pay, but we have partners that can help with that. So training up some people, and maybe they got prayer needs, maybe they're pregnant and don't know what to do, right? So all of those things we see as a tremendous opportunity for the church, Big C, right, to be in the toughest part of town with the highest need. 150 yards behind this location is the fentanyl capital of Marion and Polk County dealing.
Wow.
A block behind us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that's a real issue right now.
Yeah, it is.
You and I both know, starting ministries, traction is a big deal. Momentum is a big deal. And you guys sound like you're trying to get traction. I mean, you've already got the rec and you've got the Grange and you've got the vision. But what would accelerate the traction? What would accelerate the momentum?
Gee, Bruce, I'm so glad you asked.
Yeah, that's a T-ball right there.
Yeah. Boom. Like anything, it takes resources, right? So specifically money, right? Or in-kind giving, equipment, all that stuff. I'll put our nonprofit up against anyone when it comes to the donated dollar and how far it goes, right? So I'm quite confident that nobody can compete, because our facilities at least pay for themselves plus, right? So every donated dollar, every grant dollar is going towards equipment and staffing and programming to mostly to help young people, right? Yeah. And so it takes a tremendous amount to do what we're about to do over there. So any amount of money from jumping on and giving us $25 a month or $50 a month, or if you got 20 grand, we'll take a check for that too.
Yeah.
But
so just to be clear, Valor Mentoring is a nonprofit, a registered nonprofit.
Yes, we're a registered 501c3. It's tax deductible. Yeah. We've matured as an organization we started this, you were there. We started this thing with just an idea, and we built every system, process, and policy from scratch, and now we have a nonprofit organization. We have a nonprofit foundation that we just started that eventually will be a fundraising tool for us. Yeah, and then we have the Rec Inc., which is in the middle of that as the kind of the for-profit piece of what we do.
Yeah.
So but it's all owned.
The for-profit is
all underneath
the bowling alley
yes,
and all that
right.
kind
But
of thing.
all those are underneath we'll call it a parent company if we're
umbrella,
talking corporate talk for
Yeah. Wow. So I would imagine that in that world, in your world, like a lot, a regular donation is something that you can kind of count on. Maybe someone says, hey, I'm just going to have $25 a month come out of my checking account. I'm not going to write a check every month. I don't know who writes checks anymore. But you know what I'm saying? That and then you guys can build into the future because
absolutely.
Right? You know what's coming in.
Yeah. I mean, and it's really encouraging to watch those come in. It continues to build stability. Right, in what you're doing. So no amount is too small. I think that sounds cheesy, but it's absolutely true. Yeah. Right.
So if I'm listening to this first time I've ever heard about this, let's just say, and I want to come see it in action, what do I do? What should I do? Drop by the Rec? Drop by the Grange?
Yeah, I would say
the other isn't finished yet, but
right. Yeah, I mean, I would say come by the Grange. If you look up the recgrange.com, you can get that. You could email me, tim@valormentoring.com. You could hit info at. Any of those things could get you to me. And if you have more questions, you want to poke around, you want to look at what we're doing and cast the vision and see what the plans are for the next location and beyond that.
Yeah.
So
tim@valormentoring.com.
Yep.
Yeah. And they can connect with you, have a coffee.
Yeah. Yep. Or meet any other staff. We attract insanely talented young people that are working for less than they could get somewhere else. But at the same time, we've grown as an organization there too, right? getting them to a living wage and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it takes a lot. One of the last things, there's a lot of other organizations out there doing mentoring, right?
That's true.
There are other people doing mentoring. Why are you guys different?
Yeah, I think, well, I got to first say Jesus for sure, right? I mean, Dick Whitnell says this all the time, usually with me standing right in front of him. He's like, well, look, a lot smarter people than Tim have tried to make this mentoring thing happen. Previous county commissioners and all that stuff.
That's really true. But I can testify to that. I've been in so many meetings over the years.
Yeah. And so hopefully it's God's vision, and it continues to attract more and more people that get it. And God made me a entrepreneurially minded risk taker with a ministry heart. And so this is kind of just this blank canvas of my two passions, right? Entrepreneurism and faith. And so, I'm having the time of my life. I've never worked harder, never had more fun. And if you'd have asked me something in 2015 or 16, I mean, I was absolutely content at Church on the Hill. Like I didn't have any point, but
hadn't come on the horizon.
Yeah. But I'm just doing for others through this stuff is what's done for me. I think the other thing is that there's plenty of sports organizations, and so we're not a sports thing, right? We do music, media, and the arts as our programming. So if you want to write a song and record it and learn how to do that, it can be done. You want to make a full-length feature film, you can do that on world-class software, right? From Grammy-nominated people, So, yeah. That's I think that music, media, and arts piece and the faith piece I think is what differentiate us.
Yeah. So listening to you here, there's several on ramps. One is I need a mentor.
Yes.
And so I heard this thing, or I have a kid, I have a boy who needs a mentor. I have a neighbor kid. I have maybe my own son.
Yeah.
And we don't connect like we should, but I want to get him a son. I could help get them to you.
Absolutely.
Or I could say I'm willing to give up 1 hour a week and meet with a kid, and I'll be that mentor.
Yes.
I'll be that adult figure.
Yep.
Or you could say, I want to help empower someone else to be a mentor. And so
That's right.
I'm going to send in $20 a month or $30 a month and see it. And I'm going to come by and have one of those coffees that you are so confident in.
Exactly. Yeah. And you come in our buildings.
And they are good coffee. I've been there. It's good.
And you can come in our buildings and watch what the donated dollar and the money does.
Exactly. See it right there in front of you.
Yeah,
right there.
Exactly.
And you guys run a lean organization. You guys are not spending money on frivolous things. I was out there. You took us out on a little field trip when the building was you just acquired it. So it was just all rough.
Yeah.
It wasn't even rough framed. It was just basically it was gutted.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, there's a lot of work ahead of this. But now as we speak, it's being framed and so forth.
Plumbing,
electrical.
Yeah.
All that.
Yep. All of it's going to happen, and hopefully we can get her open early May.
Early May. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Tim. For
thank
being
you for
with us.
having me, man.
And if you're watching this and you're like, this is amazing, I've never heard of this, pass this along to somebody. Just send them the link or go on our website. It's on our cothcommunity.com website. Right, Ethan? Am I telling them right? It's on. You can find this link to this podcast on our website. Okay. Yeah. And then if you have questions, Tim at
valormentoring.com. Yeah. I mean, I'm still a COTH guy, right? I mean, me and Joy have been attending Church on the Hill since 07. So, I mean, we're part of the community.
Come meet him in person.
There you go.
Yeah. You're inspiring. You're an inspiration. Thanks for being with us. Easter's coming. Bring a friend. And hope you have a great week. God bless.